Hello, welcome to Futbol Europa podcast. And today we don't have Carlos, who won't be here for a while because he's getting married. So I don't think he'll be listening. But congratulations, Carlos,
Congratulations, Carlos.
and welcome, Sean. Thank you so
Hi.
much for coming.
Yeah, glad to be back.
It is a pleasure to have you, and especially when we are on short of guests. So yeah, I'll pay the respect to you for coming, and we'll start with United's win over Liverpool in the women's football.
In the women's, yes, in the women's top flight. It was not only that. It was the women's team. They've been I think they've been fighting hard. They deserve the promotion to the top flight this season, and it's not been the best of results the past two games. They lost to Arsenal, and I think they drew to I can't remember which team, but I was keeping tabs on the goals for the women's the games of the women's team because it was the Man U versus Liverpool, and the women scored their first league goal against Liverpool in open play, so that's perfectly fine, not a penalty. And their second goal came as a penalty, so it was a lovely 2-0 win. So congratulations to the Man United women. It was I I, I particularly enjoyed it. I think this season's skipper Katie Zidane. I think she's a lovely. I think I think she'll make a good skipper. Alex Greenwood last season as well, leading team to promotion, and now she's playing for Lyon. So yeah, it was fun to watch. At least part of Manchester United's winning, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's pretty good to see that your team is doing well, especially when your side is suffering injuries and is struggling a bit against teams which they shouldn't struggle against. So yeah, and I just want to ask you, as a United fan, how do you feel approaching Arsenal at home after the Rochdale performance?
I think I overall I think I can still have faith in the things that Solskjaer is doing. I think the board have realized their mistakes and have put a bit of faith and understanding and backing into the vision of both Solskjaer, Mike Fallon, and Michael Carrick. I think they want to achieve something. They really do. But at the same time, I think they want to put a lot of faith into what I think is a very very strong academic academy that they have, and what is historically a very strong academically based club, where I think for the past, don't quote me on this, but I think about 50 years or something. I can't remember. I think it was like 1952 or something. I can't remember the statistic specifically, but we that I think it's about in the high triple digits. I think 700, 800, 900 games where we've always had an academy player in the first team, be it on the field or on the bench.
Yeah.
So I think for in terms of the Rochdale game, it was really not just Team B, but those people who the youngsters who Solskjaer really wanted to see them perform, and they did. I think Mason Greenwood has really stepped up to the plate in terms of striker duties whenever he's called up. A bit of a shame that I suddenly forgot Rashford has an injury. I think it was either hamstring or groin, and it's good to see that our academy is putting out capable players, not just in defense but in offense as well. Because just gonna segue into the EPL. We have a goalkeeper on loan, Dean Henderson, playing for Sheffield. And yes, he made a mistake for against Liverpool, but apart from it, he was a really really strong goalkeeper, and I think that against Rochdale, seeing the youth team play, or like, I don't want to call it the B team. At the end of the day, they're all first team players. So, like, I think it was just the rotation sort of thing. So, I mean, yeah, it's for good exposure at capable high level, and I think the League Cup is a good showing for it. I mean,
Yeah.
Tottenham lost on penalties, so
Yeah.
we won.
Yeah. That's yeah. At least you got the win eventually, and Liverpool might be eliminated from the cup because of the ineligible player which they fielded. But it's
Really? I didn't. I didn't see that. I should
yeah.
wait. Let me. Oh,
Yeah. So,
who did
anyways,
they feel?
I'm not so sure about that. I
Okay.
just read the headline that they might be eliminated because of the
Well, it makes things a little bit
yeah,
easier, I guess.
probably because in the later stages you might end up facing Liverpool or stuff like that. So yeah. So my earlier question, which I'll get back to now, is that how do you approach the Arsenal game? Are you confident about it, or do you think a draw would be a good result? Because
Ah,
both of the
yeah.
sides are like on and off.
A bit. Yeah, yeah. I get what you mean. I think. Yeah. Looking at that game, approaching it. Well, Tuesday at 5 a.m. Um, Arsenal have been really faulty or flaky defensively. I must say. I mean, I think both sides have been really have their on pros and cons to their sides right now. I think we have a good defensive lineup. It's just that they're yet to. I like any centre back pairing between Lindelof and Maguire. I think it's the need and time to gel together. I mean, we purchased Maguire 3 days before the start of the season or something like that, something ridiculous, and you can tell in moments that they are the best pair that we have, and I think we want to solidify the defense around them with De Gea and the keeper. Well, obviously, in keep in I mean between the sticks. With Wan Bissaka as a. Have you seen his tackles?
Not really.
Oh, you should see his highlight reel for his tackles. It's ridiculous. Sometimes you look at it and it's just like, how did he get to the ball? He's got these really long legs. That's why he's called the Spider Man, and it just hooks around. So it's amazing to watch him do tackles. And with capable left backup in terms of
Yeah.
Young.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got that. And going into the Arsenal game, I think that we might have the slight advantage. I think. With Arsenal's flaky defense, we just need to wrap up our finishing. I think because Dan James, we've seen the Wales game. Dan James can shoot from outside the box. Martial can shoot from outside the box, and Mason Greenwood has both a terrific right and left leg. So I think that those will be the front three leading to Arsenal, and what will really go down will be watching the midfield play because both sides midfield right now they're really good. I think Arsenal might have the upper hand with Xhaka and I think
Ceballos also.
Yes, that's the one. So they have Ceballos, who was terrific
Young as well.
midfield.
Not in the midfield, but
Oh yeah. I mean
as
yeah,
a striker,
forward line,
outlet
but
option. Yeah.
yeah, forward line with Lacazette, Aubameyang, and
Ceballos.
Ceballos. I think Ceballos is more of a attacking midfielder. What do you think?
Ceballos is a player which can play from box to box and can play on the right side and
Yeah.
on as an attacking midfielder.
Mm.
So he's like he can drift apart to spaces,
Yeah.
but basically he's just like box to box
Yep,
type of
yep.
player.
Yeah, he was really. I can't remember that breakout game. I think it was his debut game for Arsenal. He just showed magnificent.
Yeah, he had like two very good strong
Mm.
games at home.
Mm.
And I just forgot the sides.
Yeah, I
Against
forgot the
which-
side as well
yeah.
because we remember the name. We just don't remember
We
the.
just follow so many games per week, so it
We-
happens.
we take note of the player, and then it ends up being
Exactly.
the case where, which game was it? But you know,
Yeah.
yeah, but it yeah. So like I said, Arsenal do have the stronger looking midfield side right now. Not sure whether Pogba is playing, so it will really be it will really go down to the wire. I think both sides are prepared, but unfortunate to say, I think Arsenal might have the upper hand in going into
Yeah.
this leg. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess a draw will be a good result for either of the sides, considering the all factors of both the teams right
Yeah,
now.
a draw would be a good result, but as always, I think either side will want to win. I think
course.
I have a feeling. I don't know. I just have this feeling it might be scrappy. I mean, it might be a scrappy 1-0 win.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, with that segueing into the Madrid derby,
Yeah.
I think either side would have appreciated a scrappy 1-0 win as well. So, what do you
Yeah.
think?
So Madrid derby was like it came after it was expected after the PSG loss that Zidane will struggle against Sevilla and then against Atletico de Madrid, and that might be the trigger which finally puts the pressure on him to either leave himself or the club starts thinking about the replacements option. But that hasn't been the case, and we won against Sevilla 1-0, and then we won against Osasuna by 2-0 if I'm not wrong. So and so the both the games we didn't really have those many of transitions, which was the case against the PSG game, and that's where we
Yeah.
lost it
Yep. Yep.
because PSG were very fast with their attack.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were very incisive with their coming in from the wings, and our players didn't really press well. Press and cover wasn't coordinated, I would
Mhm.
say, because if Tony Kroos is say pressing against Di Maria,
Mhm.
but Benzema is not covering that area, and he is pressing some other play.
They
So
get
it
space.
was like
PSG
yeah,
get space. Yeah.
so PSG get a lot of space, and they exploited it quite well. But in against Sevilla and Osasuna, Real Madrid didn't really have to do much of transitions.
Yeah.
So when
Osasuna was
they
2-0. Yep.
yeah, so they Real Madrid were good with the ball. They were good without the ball, but we also have to take into consideration that we didn't have to make many transitions because none of our attack was like a lightning fast counter attack, or none of the opponent's attack was like that. So we were good solid in 4-2-3-1 formation for both the games,
Yep.
and we did well. We had extra men in the midfield, and it was a collective effort of the team to go ahead as a unit. So we did show some unity over there.
Yep.
But again, when I'm a bit concerned, like how we will uh, face a team which is very fast in their attack, and when we are like 4-4 in formation in transitions, how will we defend that? So against Atletico as well, I expected it to be a more
Defensive
lightning.
or
Sorry.
no? No. Carry on. Carry on.
Yeah. So against Atletico, I expected Atletico de Madrid to attack in a very systematic way, in a very lightning fast way, and similar to the way they played against us in the preseason, which was 7-3 defeat.
Mhm.
But that wasn't the case. Atletico de Madrid somehow weren't having much of the ball. They had like 47 or 45% of the possession, which was a surprising factor for me because in the new Simeone era, it was a idea that Atletico de Madrid won't sit back, but will have more of the ball and will attack in a certain way, and it will transform the way they have been playing so far because they don't see themselves as underdogs anymore. And yeah, so it was quite different because again there were no transitions. Both the teams were quite comfortable with their defense, and Real Madrid again resorted back to their 27 crosses a game stat. So earlier against uh, PSG or against Sevilla, I remember there were only like 9 crosses in the whole game. But now again, we don't really have proper attacking transition, I would say, because we only depend on the wingers, the fullbacks, to cross the ball into the box and hoping for Benzema to find one. But you need a systematic play to penetrate those lines and provide the ball outlet to your strikers. So that's still an area which worries me, and I fear that if a team which reads that well,
Like
and
PSG again.
yeah,
Mhm.
PSG or even maybe Barcelona, probably Barcelona have a different style of play, but it's a team which can adapt to those changes and can hurt us. So that's my point of view.
Yeah, and I think I think that's very true when it comes to like any form of straightforward teams or teams that are finding it difficult. I think the same can be said for Man United, where the attack is very one dimensional right now. Yeah, and you see us just passing around the box. I didn't watch the Real Madrid game, so was it a lot of passing around the box or?
Yeah, so surprisingly, Real Madrid often resort to widening the field,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but this time they were more into closing the field. I don't know
Okay.
why.
Okay.
Especially against when they don't have the ball, that's a wise option. But even when they did have the ball, the fullbacks
It
weren't
was
really that high up. They were
right. Yeah.
quite reserved, and they were quite compact horizontally, not vertically,
Mm.
horizontally, which is quite surprising for me. So
Yeah.
there wasn't really much crossing, but yeah, there was crossing, but not that much of passing, and that's why we couldn't penetrate the lines. So it
Mm-hmm.
was more like, okay, we'll just shoot a ball across and see what happens.
Yeah. I think you guys right now in Real, I think, is suffering the same sort of issue that Man United are facing. Because I personally feel that Shaw and Wan Bissaka, they've got legs on them. They've got thrusters. You guys still have Marcelo and who's on the right back?
Yeah, so Marcelo and Mendy are injured right now on the left back. So it was
That's
Nacho,
Nacho.
and
Mhm.
Carvajal was playing.
Right back.
Yeah,
Yep.
as a right back.
So like, I think Carvajal still's got some speed in him, right?
Carvajal is quite decent right now.
Hmm. Yeah. So I think yeah, I think it's the same sort of predicament right now. You have good fullbacks, but and just like Man United, and it's just a case of getting the ball into the box. Really, I think Benzema still got it in him. That's for sure.
Benzema is now. Earlier, he used to be the link-up player,
Mm.
but now he's adapting to the responsibility of being near to the box and being that outlet which the midfield needs or the wingers need.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he's adapting to the role, but I would like to see more of Mariano and Jovic as well. And
Mm-hmm.
surprisingly, Bale and Hazard, whom I expected to be more free in the attack, have been given the defensive responsibilities.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, so they now play as a double fullbacks, almost. So
Well,
the most
technically,
of the Hazard's dribbling is in the defensive area to get the ball out of the
well,
danger zone.
to be fair, Bale did start as what, a left wing back anyway.
Yeah, he did start, but again,
Um,
you expect them to be a bit more
Attacking with a player like
Especially-
Hazard and Bale. Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
because Bale has the pace to
Still does, yeah.
attack as a counter attack,
Mm-hmm.
and Hazard can penetrate those lines with his dribbling. So when you have those kinds of player who can get past the defenses and get you the goals, and then there's a player like Benzema who is good on link up and can also score,
Mm-hmm.
you expect more to be doing well offensively.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
You think Benzema should actually be playing a false nine role, and then they can
he already plays a false nine role most of the time.
most of the time? Okay, and
Yeah.
I just don't.
He
I
drops
don't
back
watch.
a lot,
Yeah.
and he sometimes allows James also because he was an attacking midfielder. And in the last match against Atletico, it was Fede Valverde and Toni Kroos. So
Oh
he-
yeah, you guys got James Rodriguez back already
Yeah.
from Bayern, right? Yeah.
he's playing great.
That's good. That's good.
So
No, so most Real Madrid players, they go on loan, come back, and then yeah.
Yeah, one of the players on loan, which we should talk about, which we have talked about earlier, is Martin Odegaard, who has been player of the month for La Liga.
He got. Are you thinking what?
Yeah.
Are you gonna say what I think you're gonna say? Is it what a fish?
Yeah, that was for the Real Sociedad's player of the month or something like that.
Yeah, so I saw the post. I was just like, who gives a fish? Like, oh.
This is still better. Once I read that a player in Africa was awarded 5 GB internet data as a man of the match performance, and
All right. That's it. Actually, to be fair, I think that's better than most man of the match awards in EPL. Anyway, it's better than nothing. They just
Exactly.
they just get a trophy. So
trophy. Yeah, it's better than a trophy which you can utilize, and
Yeah,
because
5
man of the
GB.
performance is not really something to boast about in long term.
but like something small. Yeah.
Yeah, something small.
Do
something
they get
celebrate.
bonuses? I don't know. Their contracts don't say.
Yeah,
They would though.
It depends on the contracts and on the leagues and
Yeah.
all the stuff.
Yeah, that's it's just one of those surprising things because when it comes to some people on loan, then they come back to the club, they don't perform as well. But hearing James is doing well, that's good.
James is doing well. The thing is, James needs quite a support
Mm-hmm.
because if you play him as a free person, you need someone to cover for him.
Mm-hmm.
So if you allow him to attack, you also need like
Mm-hmm.
two defensive midfielders who
Yeah.
will cover up this.
Yeah.
It's similar to Marcelo's play. Like
Yeah. Marcelo really loves to go forward.
Marcelo is like almost a winger only, and then Ramos covers a lot of his area. So similarly, James now comes back and tracks back
Yeah.
for the defensive duties, but he needs
Yeah,
that kind of
similarly to what's the Chelsea left back or right back, what's his name? Alonso. Same thing to Alonso, so he really loves going forward and becoming a striker. But the reverse of roles a little bit. It's a question actually came to my mind. I'm gonna ask you.
Yeah.
What do you think of Zidane coming back and coming back after those successive seasons, coming back and managing Real Madrid again?
Yeah, so I was never a fan of Zidane's second era for Real Madrid because I wanted a coach who is more proven to tactically reform the team, say Jose Mourinho or maybe even Antonio Conte or someone like that. But uh, Zidane has a very good established relationship with each of the player in dressing room, so it makes sense that way. But eventually, now after the PSG game, we have started seeing some of the positives. Like team is now playing in a more restricted way. There are
Yep.
defined duties of the players.
Yep.
They aren't given that kind of freedom which they were given in the Zidane's earlier era. That okay,
Yep.
Ramos, you can go to
Midfield.
or even as a like second striker or something like that. But now they are given more of the defensive duties and they are assigned the roles and team is coming compact
Mm-hmm.
and the press is organized. So that surely has been seen in the games against Sevilla, Osasuna, and Atletico de Madrid. But I
Yep.
guess there are quite a few issues, and in a season of 38 games, it's only been like 5 or 6 games. But on the positive side, we have been unbeaten in La Liga, the only side,
Mm-hmm.
and we are on top of the table, maybe like 4 points ahead of Barcelona and 1 point ahead of Atletico de Madrid. So it's like a comfortable position right now, but it's can be
It's early.
capitalized.
It's
Yeah,
early days.
exactly. But one thing which also worries me is that can Zidane, okay, he might give us a good season, he might give us 2 good seasons, but can he create a system which can outlast his tenure at Real Madrid?
That's always the question when it comes to managers who are there for a
Exactly.
short-term issue. Yeah.
So if like Pochettino has done a lot for Tottenham, and if he now leaves and they get a good manager in his place, he will have like quite good squad and quite good players who have been used to that style of play and they can continue. Similar to Man City, who hired Pellegrini and Mancini before Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, that is the positive thing. I mean, they did spend millions and millions of dollars. They did.
They
Well,
did spend, but they still
I
have
think
the
no. I think
that
there's
kind
no
of player.
argument even from Man City supporters that they bought that league that year when it came to winning it. Not because of them paying for it, but they really paid players premium prices for players so they could get a squad that they wanted and that could
Yeah.
work together.
Yeah.
And I think that's some of the issues that there's definitely the issue that Arsenal is facing right now that Unai Emery is trying to solve. That's the issue that I think has been plaguing Manchester United a lot recently
Yeah.
in recent years, regardless Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, and currently Solskjaer. I think, yeah.
Sometimes I think that the problem isn't in the coaches or the managers, which United have.
Oh yeah,
It's more about the board being in a disagreement with the manager.
correct. It's there's so many factors.
Because
It's just different factors. But
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
overall those clubs are showing that because there's no there's
link up to all
there's
these
no
structure,
link
yeah.
up. There's no even when you fire a manager, there's no transitionary period, or when
Exactly.
the manager retires, there's
Exactly.
no transition or effort to transit. Look at
Also, they don't
Look
really.
at Chelsea.
Yeah.
They win, and then they fire, then they win. So
It's
that's because they have at least a base of a
yeah,
player.
exactly. Also, what I think is that clubs should consider the style of play they are executing right now and hire a manager who has a similar ideology. Like if Barcelona hired Pep Guardiola, after that they had Lucho Enrique was the next guy, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then they had Ernesto Valverde.
yeah,
So
they,
it
they,
has a similar lineage of possession play football.
yeah. They're always
Yeah,
hiring managers who are like-minded and tactically
exactly,
like-minded.
exactly.
Look, I mean, biggest example. Let's be honest.
Even with
So,
Real Madrid,
yeah,
we had Jose Mourinho,
Jose
and
Mourinho.
then after that
Was it
we had Carlo
Ancelotti?
Ancelotti,
Yep.
and then Rafa Benitez for a short while.
How long was that, by the way?
It was like half a season.
Yeah,
So yeah, again,
and then Zidane took over Benitez, right?
yep,
If I remember.
yep.
Yeah.
And then we had Lopetegui, who was a drastic change from counter-attacking football to possession play, and that didn't work out well.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we resort back to Solari. Solari was an interim option, so it was quite known that he would have been shown the
Fired.
door.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in La Liga
I
you
think
cannot.
I think Solari it was a stopgap measure.
Yeah, because in La Liga you cannot have a manager on interim basis for more than 10 days, so you have to give him a contract.
So you cannot have them in what?
So only like the caretaker manager can only be in charge for 2 weeks or something like that. So after that you have to give them a contract or something like that. Then only he can train the team. So Solari had to be given a contract. So it was eventually okay.
It was a pseudo caretaker manager.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was a caretaker manager, but due to the rules,
Yep.
he couldn't manage more than 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So that he was given a contract of 3 years, and then later signed after 2 or 3 months. So yeah.
So it was yeah.
So
It
due
was
to technical issues, he was given a contract, but
Yep.
otherwise,
So we would. I don't think. Yeah. I think in everyone's eyes he was the care. I think even he knew he was
he
caretaking.
even in a recent interview he said that it was a pleasure to manage Real Madrid, and I'll always be grateful. It's a big club, and he was like, it was understandable from his point of view.
I think everyone knew in that situation. Even
Exactly.
fans would have seen that. Yeah, he's caretaking at this
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
Because like, that's a really weird rule. Because I mean, Solskjaer took over for what? I think 4 or 5 months.
La Liga has weird rules, a lot
Yeah.
of weird rules.
What was the other one? The contract thing or something? Infinite contract, or is that just club based? The lifetime contract stuff.
I don't know about the.
Nah.
Yeah,
I
La
can't-
Liga has quite weird rules. Like you cannot even retire a jersey, because then you will have to register one player less. Because you have to occupy all the 1 to 23rd.
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
one. That's the one. That's you have to have
Yeah.
all numbers 1 to 23.
23 registered to have that squad. If you don't register a player,
And then anything after that is up to you, whatever numbers, but you must have numbers 1 to 23.
yep. It's like a mashed up league in many ways.
It's a
But
Okay,
quality wise, I love it.
okay. In terms of my organizational situation, that pleases me having all numbers from 1 to 23 in any squad.
Yeah.
Because seeing right now, I think Man United is missing a 7, is missing a couple of numbers, and you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you
That's
don't
the
see.
idea. That's the.
You want to see
idea.
the consecutive numbers.
Yeah.
It would please me to see those numbers, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think the biggest in terms of manager you see nowadays, still the biggest example would be seeing the transition from Sir Alex Ferguson's managing, and then his sudden retirement because of his health, and then moving on, passing it on
Moyes.
to Moyes. Yeah, he had it's either a heart attack or a stroke. I can't remember what it was.
Recently.
No, as in at that time as well.
Oh.
Or must have been, it's either him or the wife. Recently,
It was his wife, I guess.
yes, I think someone.
Recently, it was his brain.
Recently, it
hemorrhage or
was
something.
him. Recently, it was him. That's for sure. But at that point of his 2013 retirement, there was a health issue there was
the
a health
family.
scare in the family. That's why he chose to retire, even though he promised at Van Persie that he was going to manage for a couple more years. And I think at that time it was going to be the case, because he definitely bought Van Persie in the idea of winning
Yeah.
winning that league and then winning 1 or 2 more after that. Just like how he did with Berbatov, how he did with purchasing Berbatov and years before that, who's
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a
So the
it,
point is that the club is not in. The club needs to be clear, and the
mm.
debate of sporting director has always been there for
Do you
Man
want to
United.
see? Do you want a director of football in Man United? Yes, but if Ed Woodward could get his head on his shoulders together, he's done.
Even
I,
if
wa-
they get on the same page with the manager and support him,
Mhm.
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's
That's how it works at Real Madrid.
yeah it's. I mean, not discounting Ed Woodward. I think Ed realized his initial mistakes with Moyes. That's for sure. I think Moyes is not a bad manager by far. I mean, he stayed with Everton for what 8 7 8 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he kept them as a solid team to always chase fourth or fifth to push the top tier. I mean, it was a bad not bad era, but it was a bad era in that sense that if you were like fourth or fifth, you really couldn't break through that ceiling to go first, second, or third.
exactly.
During the period that he was managing, and it was just
Yeah,
Ferguson, Wenger.
yeah.
Yeah, look,
Wenger, I was about to ask you. Wenger recently said that he'd love to manage Man United. It's a dream job and stuff like that.
I would be happy to have Arsene Wenger. Like he knows what he's doing.
But again, the issue is like he suffered the same thing in Arsenal when the board wasn't really on the same page as him, and they were like compromising a lot on purchasing players and uh, stuff like that happened. Similar to what Man United board is having.
Yeah.
With the
Woodward
managers.
realized his mistakes with Moyes. Tried to give space to Van Gaal. Didn't really work out because the market keeps increasing, and I think right now Woodward's too focused on the business side of it. I mean, we've got a sponsor for tractor,
Yeah,
a tractor.
yeah,
I didn't understand it, but we have a sponsor for a tractor. Okay.
yeah,
I mean, at first when we got this, when there was a sponsorship for Nissan noodles, I was just like, oh yeah, fair enough, you know.
yeah.
It's still food. Everyone has it. And then the tractor one came out, and I was just like, huh?
That's that's hilarious.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah,
But
I wonder if
I think I don't know, because Van Gaal bit a little bit too much, and then he started reining in. It was such a bad transition. He started reining in the budget again for Mourinho, and then we couldn't get Maguire, and then Solskjaer came in and he was just like, oh, I should let him buy again, and then see,
it's a mess.
it's a mess because he's so focused on the business that he
Exactly.
forgets that he needs someone to actually understand football to do all the
That's
things.
why you need a sporting director.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if after that season when you finished second under Mourinho, that was probably one of the best
There was
seasons
the
you had in the recent history.
Yeah, I think
Since-
honestly we would have won the league if
City
Man
won that
City
one.
wasn't 100% near frigging perfect.
Yeah, they
Like-
had like 100 points, and you had like 81 points, and 81 points in a normal season is a
Yeah.
league winning.
Yeah,
Tally.
exactly. If in that season, it's just like it's not for the lack of trying. Man City were near frigging perfect.
Yeah,
We won the Europa League that
Yeah,
season as
exactly.
well.
Yeah.
It's not like the team.
You finished above Liverpool and Tottenham.
We had Zlatan that season.
Exactly.
We had such a good, solid team.
And if
Oh.
the team was reinforced appropriately, I think
They would have won the league the next season.
exactly, or at least they would have been in the right.
They would have been in the proper position, at least in the following season, on the season after that,
Yeah.
to win the league.
Exactly.
But no, you didn't have a sporting director, and
And
Woodward
then
thinks
you-
he can do. Woodward really thinks he can do both jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done a good job, really. I honestly think so. But like, you can't focus on so many things at the same time. But I think everyone looking from the outside right now, everyone understanding how the game works. Even if he appoints a director of football,
He won't have much freedom to do
he won't
anything.
have much freedom because at the end of the day, he'll still
The
report.
decision maker is the
He'll still report to
person, yeah.
Woodward instead of him just being able to make the decision.
exactly, and that's where the problem is. Anyway, I think
I
that's a
mean,
good
and
point to
yeah,
end the podcast if you want to add something.
really quickly.
Sure.
I think that goes to show how important Perez it has been for Real Madrid.
Florentino Perez has like he is the actual decision maker eventually,
Mm.
but most of his stuff is done by Jose Anel Sanchez, who is his right
Correct,
hand person.
correct. But as
And
in having Perez at the top
yeah,
and
but
then
he
selecting the right people,
exactly.
that's what should be happening in Man
Yeah,
United.
because it's like a voice of the fans, the board members, the players, and
Even though
everything is considered.
some people don't like Perez that much, I really feel that
He's one of the best guys in Real Madrid because you see the signings he's made, the
I think no,
players he's
yeah,
got,
he's done.
everything.
He's put the right people in the right places, and I think that's what Woodward should be doing.
Exactly. We can do a podcast on Perez one day because he's done a lot of stuff.
He's-
Because Real Madrid was on the verge of bankruptcy when he came in.
I can't say I know much about Perez, but the only thing like people don't, not many people, some people don't like him, but as an outside fan looking in, I think he's done a terrific job
Terrific
coming
job,
from
yeah.
bank. Yeah,
Yeah, especially when you compare to
Woodward.
Woodward or even Bartomeu of Barcelona, who Neymar is suing for 30 million. It's crazy, man.
Look,
So, yeah.
I mean, Woodward can take a page out of Perez's book. That's what I wanted to say, and I think yeah, you're right. With that, I think that's a good point to
Yeah,
call it a day. Yeah,
we can just do another podcast on all the presidents one day.
we can really just
Khalifi-
keep talking about this.
Even the Bayern Munich president who said we won't send players to national team if
Oh,
Neuer
let's-
is.
I think let's keep that for next week.
Yeah, we will discuss
That
it.
was pretty funny.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and hopefully you have a good game in Arsenal versus Man United, and we'll be back by next week to discuss it. Thank you so much for listening.
Have a good week.
Adios.